He aimed first. Right there, in front of our house. Sunlight bouncing off his badge. Neighbors frozen behind their curtains. And my wife. Calm, steady, her eyes locked on him. He had no idea who she really was. No idea that the quiet woman he just threatened was about to ruin his whole life. And trust me, what happened next shook the entire neighborhood. Because in our town, HOA power doesn't scare everyone, especially not my wife. Hey everyone, welcome back to HOA Stories. I'm Mark. I live in a quiet suburban neighborhood that's anything but quiet. And today, you're about to hear how one HOA officer learned the hard way that sometimes the rule enforcers pick the wrong family. If you've ever hated HOA drama or been fined for some stupid reason, then hit that subscribe button and type BOOO HOA in the comments. Let's see how many of us are done with these power-hungry boards. And yeah, share this with that one friend who's still fighting over mailbox colors. All right, let's get into it. The morning started like any other. Coffee, the smell of fresh-cut grass, and that fake suburban peace everyone pretends to love. I was on my porch, just watching life happen, when a black SUV with HOA enforcement written on the side rolled up slow, like they were the FBI of lawns. Out steps this guy, tall, broad, all muscle and ego. Sunglasses, even though it was cloudy. He walks up like he's in a movie. Taps his badge. Yeah, apparently HOA cops have badges now. Sir, we've had complaints, he says, in that tone that already sounds like an accusation. Your wife's vehicle is parked on the curb again. I blinked. That's a public street, I said. He smirks. Not in this neighborhood. It's not. Now, I knew the HOA here was petty. But this was a new level of crazy. My wife, Claire, was inside, probably on her laptop, working on some federal case. She's with the FBI, but nobody around here knew that. We like to keep things quiet. So I just smiled. Try to play nice. I'll move it, I said. But he doesn't move. He takes out his phone, starts snapping pictures of my driveway like it's a crime scene. And I swear he's enjoying it. Like writing tickets gives him purpose. Then he looks at me. You people think rules don't apply to you, he says. You people. That's when I felt it, the burn in my chest. The kind that tells you this guy's not just doing his job. He's loving the power trip. Before I could say anything, Claire walks out. She's wearing her black workout clothes. Hair tied back. Calm, confident, like always. Is there a problem, officer? She asks. And I kid you not, the man straightens his back like he's meeting his boss. Ma'am, this your car? Yes. It's in violation of Section 8C. Curbside parking for more than 12 hours. She nods slowly. So you came here to, what, issue a fine? He steps closer. I came here to make sure people follow the law. That's when I saw it. His hand resting near his holster. Like he wanted her to see it. Like intimidation was part of the job. My pulse went cold. Claire's tone changes, just slightly. Are you threatening me? He grins. Depends. You planning to keep breaking rules? And right then, everything stopped. Neighbors peeked from windows. Kids froze on their bikes. It was that quiet before something bad happens. Claire didn't flinch, didn't raise her voice, didn't even move. She just said one thing. I think you're about to make the biggest mistake of your career. He chuckles. Oh yeah, and who's gonna stop me? And then she reached for her badge. That shiny FBI ID catching the light. The man's smile vanished instantly. But before he could even react, he did the dumbest thing possible. He aimed his gun. Right at her. That's where everything exploded. Sirens, shouts, neighbors running out. And I swear, from that moment on, our peaceful neighborhood was never the same again. Because the HOA just started a war they couldn't win. And tell me this. If your spouse was in her place, calm, trained, But being threatened like that, what would you have done? Backhand index pointing down. The air went heavy, like even the wind didn't want to move. That HOA cop's hand was shaking, but his ego wasn't. Claire didn't blink, didn't reach for her gun, didn't even look scared. She just stared straight at him. Cold calm. The kind of calm that only comes from someone who's seen worse things than a man with a badge. I stepped forward. "Hey, put that down," I shouted. He barked back. "Stay where you are, sir. She's under investigation for violating HOA code." I swear, I almost laughed. HOA code. You're pointing a gun at an FBI agent over parking. But he didn't care. His finger twitched. Neighbors gasped. And then she spoke. "You really want to do this?" she said softly. Her voice cut through him like a wire. "Because if you pull that trigger, every single person here becomes a witness to the day an HOA cop assaulted a federal officer." He froze. But you could see it, pride fighting fear. The crowd was growing. Phones were out. Someone was already live streaming. He lowered the gun barely. And that's when a woman came running from across the street. It was Linda, the HOA president herself. Tight ponytail, clipboard in hand, face like she'd been waiting for this drama all her life. "Officer Briggs," she shouted. "Step back. Step back now." He stepped back, jaw tight, like a dog being pulled off a bone. Linda turned to Claire. "Ma'am, I'm sure there's been a misunderstanding." Claire cut her off. "Oh, there's no misunderstanding." He aimed a weapon at me. Linda blinked fast, trying to calculate how bad this looked, because every neighbor had their phone up now. "Let's just calm down," Linda said, her voice fake sweet. "We don't need to involve the police." Claire raised an eyebrow. Too late. She pulled out her phone and called it in. I swear, you could feel the HOA's heart drop. 5 minutes later, real cops arrived. Blue lights flashing across our perfect little street. They asked questions, took statements. The HOA cop tried to talk his way out of it. Said he felt threatened. Said he thought she was reaching for a weapon. But the body cam on his vest didn't lie. And the witnesses didn't either. The chief on duty looked pissed. He turned to Claire. "Ma'am, you pressing charges?" She looked at me, then at the crowd, then right back at the HOA president. "Not yet," she said, "but I will if anyone from this HOA steps foot on my property again." You could hear the silence after that. Even the birds stopped. The cop was escorted away. His SUV towed. Linda tried to save face. "This is all a big mix-up," she said. But nobody bought it. When the cars left and the crowd thinned, Claire turned to me, smiled like nothing happened. "Guess we'll be getting a letter about this," she said. I laughed. "Yeah, maybe a fine for disturbing the neighborhood peace." But deep down, I knew this wasn't over, because people like Linda don't lose quietly. And I was right. The very next morning, we woke up to a bright yellow paper taped to our front door. HOA violation notice. Reason: aggressive conduct toward HOA enforcement personnel. They were doubling down. So tell me, if your neighborhood tried to fine you after one of their guys pulled a gun on your wife, would you pay it? Backhand index pointing down. The morning after that violation notice, I found 3 more taped to our door. Grass height too long. Mailbox paint faded. Improper trash bin placement. Yeah, they went full petty mode. I stood there barefoot, coffee in hand, staring at that stack of bright yellow papers. And I couldn't help but laugh. Because this wasn't about rules anymore. This was war. Claire stepped out behind me, looked at the papers, rolled her eyes. "They're pushing for a reaction," she said, her voice calm, like she was reading a criminal profile. "And what happens if I give them one?" I asked. She smiled. "Then they'll make a mistake." So we waited. For days, nothing. Just cold stares from neighbors. Whispers when we walked by. A few anonymous notes in the mailbox. Stuff like, "People like you don't belong here," or "Follow the rules or move." You'd think adults in a nice neighborhood would have better hobbies. Then one night, around 2 a.m., our doorbell rang. I checked the camera feed. It was that same HOA cop, Briggs. He wasn't in uniform. No badge. Just standing there, staring straight into the lens. No knocking. No movement. Just that dead look in his eyes. I didn't open the door. I called the local police. But by the time they arrived, he was gone. The report said trespassing unconfirmed. Of course. Next morning, Claire's tires were slashed. All four. Linda, the HOA president, called it an unfortunate coincidence. That's when Claire decided she'd had enough. She set up cameras everywhere. Driveway, mailbox, even the bird feeder. And then she said something that gave me chills. "If they want to play dirty, we'll play smarter." 2 nights later, we caught them. Footage showed a man sneaking up our driveway, spray painting something on our fence. When we checked in daylight, it said FBI liar. Claire didn't get mad. She got quiet. And when she gets quiet, it means someone's about to regret existing. She spent the whole day on her laptop. Didn't say a word. I peeked over once. She was looking up property records, board names, HOA tax filings. By nightfall, she smiled and said, "They've been hiding something." Apparently, the HOA's treasurer had been using community funds to reimburse expenses that didn't exist. And guess who approved every transaction? Linda. Claire printed everything out, neat, labeled, time-stamped. Then she said, "If they want to fine us, let's fine them back." And that's how it started. The quiet investigation, the whispered revenge, the storm before the downfall. Because once she handed that file to her FBI contact, it wasn't about a parking ticket anymore. It was about corruption. The next few days felt too calm, too quiet, like the whole neighborhood was holding its breath. Until one morning, black cars rolled into our cul-de-sac again. But this time, they weren't from the HOA. So tell me this. If you discovered your HOA was stealing money, would you expose them publicly or destroy them quietly from the inside? Backhand index pointing down. The black cars that rolled in that morning weren't HOA this time. They were government issue. Unmarked, tinted windows, quiet engines. Neighbors peeked out like it was Christmas, trying to guess who finally got busted. 2 agents stepped out. Claire met them halfway down the driveway. No smiles, no small talk. Just files in her hands. I stayed on the porch, watching, feeling that weird mix of pride and dread. Because when my wife gets that look, that cold, calm, confident look, someone's about to lose everything. An hour later, they left. No sirens, no arrests, just silence. And that's what scared me most. For the next week, nothing happened. No letters, no threats, no fake violations taped to our door. But something was coming. You could feel it. Linda stopped waving at people. The HOA meetings suddenly went private. Neighbors started whispering again, but this time, not about us. One afternoon, Claire came home from her run, grinning like she'd just solved a riddle. "They're turning on each other," she said. Apparently, one of the board members had gotten a visit from federal auditors. He panicked, told the rest of the board, and just like that, The unity cracked. Within days, rumors started spilling out. Misused HOA funds, fake invoices, a security contract paid to a company that didn't even exist. Claire had predicted it perfectly. Corruption doesn't crumble from pressure, she told me. It crumbles from guilt. Meanwhile, Linda tried to do damage control, started calling emergency meetings, sending out long, dramatic emails about unfounded accusations. But the neighborhood wasn't buying it. People wanted answers. They wanted refunds. And they wanted Linda gone. That's when I noticed something strange. The same HOA officer, Briggs, hadn't been seen in days. Word was he'd been suspended. But then, one night, he showed up again. Not in uniform this time. Just sitting in his truck at the end of the street. Engine running. Headlights off. I watched from the window. He stayed there for hours. Then drove off around 3 a.m. Claire watched the footage the next morning. Didn't say anything for a long time. Then she whispered, "He's scared, but not done." That same day, an anonymous post went up on our neighborhood Facebook group. It said, "Maybe the FBI agent should stop hiding behind her badge and leave our community alone." No name, no profile picture, just a threat wrapped as gossip. Claire didn't reply. She just said, "They're desperate. That means we're winning." But then, something happened that even she didn't see coming. We got a letter, not from the HOA, from the county office. Apparently, our property was being reviewed for compliance violations. Someone had reported us for operating a government agency from home. That's when it hit me. Linda was trying to weaponize the system, to make us the villains. And Claire, she just smiled. "Good," she said. "Let's give them a real reason to be scared." She picked up her phone and made one call to the same agents who'd visited earlier. The next HOA meeting was going to be unforgettable. "So tell me, if someone tried to destroy your name just to save theirs, would you expose them publicly or make them watch their own downfall slowly?" Backhand index pointing down. The HOA meeting was held every month in the community clubhouse. But this one felt different. The parking lot was full. Neighbors who hadn't shown up in years were suddenly front row curious. Claire dressed simple, jeans, jacket, hair tied back. No badge, no gun, no attitude. Just calm. The kind of calm that terrifies liars. I walked beside her, holding a folder. Inside it, everything. The files. The proof, the emails, the fake invoices, the paper trail that could burn the whole HOA down. As soon as we walked in, all eyes turned. Linda was already at the head table, fake smile on, clipboard in hand, like a politician pretending not to sweat. "Well, well," she said, voice dripping sweet. "Glad you could join us, Mrs. FBI. The room chuckled small, nervous laughs. Claire didn't blink. "I'm here as a homeowner," she said softly. "Not as an agent. But since you brought it up, let's talk about honesty." You could feel the air shift. Linda tried to speak, but Claire opened the folder and laid it flat on the table. "These are copies of reimbursement records," she said. "Over $50,000 in community funds paid to fake contractors, all signed by you and your treasurer." Someone gasped. Phones came out. Linda's face went pale. That's ridiculous," she stammered. "Those are lies, fabrications." Claire smiled. "Then you won't mind if I hand these over to the auditors, who've been investigating since last week." The room went dead quiet. I swear, you could hear the clock ticking on the wall. Then a man from the back shouted, "Is that why our fees went up last year?" Another voice, "She's been stealing from us." It was chaos after that. People shouting, pointing, snapping photos of the documents. Linda tried to calm everyone down, banging her little HOA gavel like she had any power left. "Order! Order! This is not official." Claire just crossed her arms. "This meeting is being recorded by at least 10 people," she said. "So yes, it's very official." The treasurer tried to stand, but he looked like he wanted to crawl out of his skin. Then the doors opened, and in walked 2 county officers. Not police. Auditors. They headed straight for Linda. One of them said, "Ma'am, we'll need you to come with us for a few questions." You could see the life drain out of her face. As they let her out, the same HOA cop, Briggs, appeared in the doorway, watching everything. His jaw clenched, hands tight at his sides. Claire looked at him, then said quietly, "You're next." He froze, didn't say a word, just turned and walked out. The meeting ended in chaos. Neighbors arguing, shouting, some cheering, some stunned silent. We walked home slow, street lights buzzing above us. Claire didn't say anything for a while. Then she smiled and said, "I told you. People like her always think they're untouchable, until someone reminds them they're not." That night, a single envelope appeared in our mailbox. No name, no address, just 3 words written on the front. "You'll regret this." So tell me this. If someone tried to scare you after you exposed their corruption, would you back off or double down harder? Backhand index pointing down. The next few days were too quiet. No letters, no meetings, no fake fines, just silence. And in this neighborhood, silence never means peace. I'd wake up every morning expecting something, a note, a rumor, a knock. But nothing came. Claire seemed calm, too calm. She kept working, going for runs, pretending life was normal. But I could see it. The way she'd glance out the window more often. The way she kept her phone near her at all times. And then the accident started. First, our security cameras went offline. Every single one. Same hour, same minute. When I checked the wiring, it looked like someone had cut the power line to the system. Then the motion lights in our backyard started flickering at night. Once, I swear I saw a shadow move across the fence. Too tall to be the wind. Too slow to be an animal. I told Claire. She just said, "Let them come. They're nervous." The next morning, she found a dead crow on our porch, its wings spread wide, and a yellow HOA violation slip pinned under it. It said, "Unapproved lawn ornaments." Yeah, they thought they were funny. I was furious. But Claire just took a photo and smiled. "They're leaving evidence," she said. "Let them hang themselves." She spent the rest of the day writing a report. Something long, official-looking. Sent it off from her work laptop. That night, she finally told me. Those funds Linda stole, they weren't just HOA fees. Some of it was federal grant money. This is bigger than we thought. And that's when I realized this wasn't just suburban drama anymore. It was turning into something federal. But the neighborhood didn't see it that way. To them, we were still the troublemakers. I'd go for a walk, and people would look away. The same folks who once waved now pretended I didn't exist. Then, around midnight one night, we heard it. Glass breaking. We ran downstairs. The front window shattered. A brick lay on the floor, wrapped in a crumpled HOA flyer. On it, scrawled in thick black marker, "Move out or else." I called the cops. They took photos, filed a report, promised patrols. But we both knew how this worked. In this kind of neighborhood, everyone's nice. Until the masks fall. Claire didn't sleep that night. She sat by the window, silent, watching the streetlights flicker across the lawn. Around 3 a.m., she turned to me and said, "They still think I'm just another neighbor. Let's show them who they're really messing with." She called her contact again, set up a meeting for the next morning, and for the first time in weeks, she looked like herself again. Not angry, not scared, just focused. The kind of focus that only means one thing: the storm is coming back. So tell me this: if your neighbors tried to scare you into silence, would you move out, or make sure they never sleep again? Backhand index pointing down. By sunrise, Claire was already dressed. Black jacket, FBI badge clipped at her hip. No more pretending to be just another wife in the neighborhood. She looked at me and said, "Stay home. Keep the cameras rolling. You're about to see why they call me the quiet storm." And then she was gone. I watched from the window as her black SUV rolled down our street, stopped in front of Linda's house, the HOA president herself. 2 unmarked cars followed behind. Then 3 men stepped out, suits, badges, calm as ghosts. It wasn't a raid. It was quieter than that. Too calm, too professional. They walked up the driveway, knocked once. Linda opened the door in her pink robe, holding a coffee mug that said #HOA. I wish you could have seen her face when Claire stepped forward and said, "Linda Cartwright, you're under investigation for federal fraud and obstruction." Her smile fell. Her hand shook. The coffee spilled all over her slippers. Neighbors started coming out, phones in hand, bathrobes, gossip mode activated. The whole street watched as the same woman who fined us for trash complacement was now getting read her rights in her own driveway. She tried to argue. "I'm the HOA president. You can't." Claire just said, "Ma'am, you might want to call your lawyer before you finish that sentence." It was glorious. And just like that, the queen of the cul-de-sac was escorted into the back of a black SUV. No screaming, no scene, just quiet shock. By afternoon, the whole neighborhood was buzzing. Turns out, Linda had been embezzling HOA funds for years. Faked invoices, pocketed fines, even took kickbacks from a landscaping company. Half the board resigned the next day. And when the local news came for interviews, guess who they called? Yeah, us. Claire didn't brag, didn't gloat. She just said, "Sometimes rules are meant to protect people. Other times, they're just tools for control. The difference is who enforces them." That clip went viral. And after that, no one ever left another passive-aggressive note on our porch again. The neighborhood felt lighter. No more fear. No more gossip. Just silence. But this time, it was the peaceful kind. Now, every time I see someone new moving in, I warn them with a smile. Keep your lawn green, your mailbox straight, and never, ever mess with the woman at my house. Because the HOA cop pulled a gun on my wife and didn't know she's FBI. So tell me, if you found out your neighbor secretly worked for the feds, would you feel safer or scared to even wave from your porch? Backhand index pointing down.